Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Sometimes it does and it doesn't. Hello, everybody. We're not going to worry about these gremlins. Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Laura Lalaki, international real estate agent. Today's conversation is one I'm personally excited about because it's not just about wealth. It's about building stronger relationships and creating a legacy together. We're talking about the power of couples working as a team to build business, invest, and grow their net worth. Did you know that couples can increase their wealth by 77% when they start a business together? Now, that's a pretty huge number, but let's be real. It's not always easy. How do you balance love, business, family without letting other things fall apart? So how do we as Black couples overcome the unique challenges we face when it comes to wealth building? And today I am joined by my royal court, my queens, Athena Gardner, CPA and wealth coach, Constance Carter, our wealth activist, Dr. Lene Brand, your brilliant business coach and strategist, and Dr. Charm, stand-up comedian and psychic medium. So guys, we have a lot to talk about, and this makes my heart warm. I don't know about y'all, but when it talks about Black love, we doing Black love and we being successful as a family and a unit, it makes me happy. And it shows that we can do things as long as we stand together. Doesn't mean that we don't have issues sometimes, but guess what? When you're standing on the same foundation, you can overcome a lot of those issues. So I want to kick us off with this awesome video. But before we watch the video, I want to ask our viewership, our audience, our family, do you own a business? And if you own a business with your spouse. So while we're watching this video, I would love to hear your comments. So let's check this out.
So we talked about when we were there that people who start businesses together statistically stay together longer. And you said statistically that's true.
Yeah.
So through your case studies, walk us down why you think that is true, that couples who build businesses and wealth together last longer.
Yeah, there was actually a case study. It was a study done and it was posted on the Journal of Psychology. And they had a pool of couples. And what they realized with the pool of couples that your net worth will increase by 77% simply by learning and investing in the process of supporting each other. Increases. And I mean, you guys are a perfect example of that, right?
Don't they look cute? I'm not exactly sure what their business are, but you could tell they are on one accord. So I'm going to do a quick question to our panel. Constance, you were married. So when you were married, did you work with your spouse? Did you build your business with your spouse, or is that something that you did on your own?
That is a very tough question. So I'll say I pretty much did it on my own, but I would say he was a utility helper. So he wasn't really working in the actual business, but the things that I needed him to do, like more of like the heavy lifting, if I needed him to go and, put something on the wall or something like that. Yeah. If I needed him to put up a sign or pressure wash the office, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's still a part of your business.
Yeah.
So you still had him around for that. Now, I have my two other queens here who are not married. But how would you feel about working with your spouse or your partner? I'm going to start with you, Dr. Lene.
First of all, it says couples. It didn't say you had to be married. Let's say that.
You're right.
Let's go.
Bad la la.
So what does that mean for you? Does that mean that you're not going to get married?
No, I'm just saying I don't want to turn people away who might be having a business with their significant other and they are a couple, but they're not married.
You're right.
That's
so
all.
We're going to change all of that.
I do plan on getting.
It does make a difference, though, Dr. Lene. Think about it, because when you're a couple, that's different. You're not. I would think if you're a couple, you're not really intermingling or commingling the funds. You're kind of doing things a little bit separate.
You might be commingling personal funds, but going into business, this is where I think we as Black people have it wrong. Getting married is a business deal.
Right.
It's a contract. It's the same way with the business. Mm-hmm. We can be a couple, meaning we are together. He can have his money, I can have my money, and we can have a business partnership where we have a business account. So we don't have to commingle our personal accounts to start a business together.
No, but when you're talking about building wealth and you're talking about Black wealth and family wealth, you're talking about that of people who are married, generally married. And that's when you're talking about increasing net worth and things like that. You don't do that when you're not married.
Well, when does it start? Like when,
You're married.
we haven't got to the second clip yet. But if I am interested in someone and they are not necessarily where they would like to be, not where I think they should be, not where I want, where they.
Are you building a Negro? You building a Negro, Dr. Lene? What are we doing?
I'm not building a Negro, but I'm just saying, if he has a concept and I have a concept, I'm like, hey, let's start a business together. All right, cool. Now, if we are both mature enough so that if the relationship doesn't work out, we can still, continue with the business. I think that's great. I think if you find a good person, a good partner in life and or in business, then you should build wealth. What happens is we get personal around building wealth. This relationship may not work out, but the wealth building can continue.
True. But I don't think that really answered my question.
Well, me and Constance be getting off on different things. The question was, I think that a man and a woman couple should be able to build wealth, should be able to come together and make money. Yes, I do. Do I think it increases? I absolutely do, because both parties are for the good of the mission. We have something to work towards and we're both invested. So when you start talking about staying together longer and making money, I absolutely agree with that statement.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So that you're open to that and that possibility. How about you, our beautiful Queen Athena? What about you? Would you be willing to be working with your partner?
Yes, I'd be willing to work with my partner. I think there's a lane where you guys can have a business together. But the caveat to that, I will say, is this. I would say that each partner has to have their own lane and their own priorities and their own functions. Because what happens is when there's no clarity around that, relationships can get strained and then you're actually divorcing or leaving because there's not a clear function for each person and people have their egos and their toes stepped on and all of that. For example, Dr. Boyce, he's in finance. Dr. Alicia, she's a therapist. Their lanes do not cross. They're subject matter experts in those two lanes. However, there are times they'll have partnerships or do things together when they come together. So that would be an example of balance when it comes to relationship and business. But it's very important that the lanes, everybody has their own lane.
I disagree.
Why?
Okay, well, you can disagree.
Let's talk about it, ladies.
Let's talk about it. Every relationship I've seen of couples who have marriages and businesses and they do not carve out functions and roles or have their own lane, even within the business, they end up in divorce.
So what do you think is wrong about what she said? Because I agree. Like you gotta know your lane, know your function. Like I shouldn't have to be doing my job and your job and telling you what to do. And I'm trying to do mine and I gotta figure out how to do yours too. That's what I'm thinking that she's saying. Yes.
Well, so I agree with what she said. I just not necessarily the example. So if we're talking about like a Dr. Boyce and a Dr. Alicia, they do projects together, not business together. So that's different. So when I think about having a business together, I'm thinking we are both in this business, running this business together. We are partners, 50-50, not doing projects together. So for example, if I start a business with my significant other, husband, man, doesn't matter who it is, we are both of our names are in this business. Mm-hmm. We're commingling our funds in this business, not personal, but I'm specifically only talking about the business.
You try not to get married, Dr. Lene. That's what's going on. Because
I'm saying, married or not, if you have a business, both parties' names are on this contract in the business. You and your husband, both of your names are on there. You and your man, both of your names are on there. Doesn't matter. Both of you are invested in this thing, whether it's you and your husband or you and your boyfriend, doesn't matter who it is. You guys are both invested. You're taking on the responsibility of this business. Yes, you should both have your responsibilities. I agree with the thing on that. He might be good at finance and you might be good at being in front of the audience, but both of you guys have the same investment because you guys are both showing up for this thing to be successful. It's not, I have my own business, he has his own business and we do things together in partnership. No, it's we are mutually both invested into this baby. We both care about it. he's in it the same amount that I'm in it. We're not just coming together with our individual businesses and doing partnerships. We have a business.
What you're both saying are true, though. What you're saying is right. Yeah.
Okay, but okay.
Well, I meant both examples, right? Because I also said clarity of function, because not everyone is going to have their own separate thing. They could have the one business. But I want to reiterate to people who are watching, every example of a marriage that also had a business where those roles weren't defined as functions ended up.
I agree with.
Well, ladies, wait a minute.
I agree
We
with
need to take a break. Let's take a deep breath.
I want to go into that too.
Back,
I want to talk a little bit about that too.
We'll be back. We'll be back.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I am the proud producer of this show. So I hope that every day when you join us, you leave a little smarter than you came, because that's the point. Otherwise, why are you watching? So if you want to receive notices for when we go live, Fly Nubian Money goes live every single day. That's Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you don't know, now you know. All you have to do is text the word Queens. That's Queens. That's Queens to 87948. That's 87948. That's Queens to 87948. Yes? If you want.
Yes. All you have to do is that you don't miss anything that we do is text the word Queens, Queens to 87948. You don't want to miss us. You know, as you can see, we're having a very spirited conversation right now. Now, ladies, I'm going to have to tell y'all, we ain't even dug into the real topic here.
Can I comment on what she said real quick?
Yes.
Please, real quick. Please.
But we need to stick to the topic.
Okay. But the idea of that partnership is extremely important. What Athena said, I think it's important. I've had women who were not my spouse that were my partners. And it's extremely important that you define the roles in a partnership. I stay in my lane. If I'm not in my lane, like we know you're strong in this. And this is the reason when I teach Black women and coach Black women about building businesses, I do a strengths assessment. What are you strong at? We need to focus on what you are strong at. Don't try to strengthen your weaknesses. You partner with the people who are strong in other areas. That way you stay in the thing that you're really, really, really good at. That other person stay at that thing that they're really, really good at. And there's no overlap. And if you need support, I can support you. But that should be clearly defined, whether it's a love interest that's your partner or just a partner that is not your love interest. Stay in your lane and know and clearly define your roles, I think is important.
And I can say that from experience now, that's the same thing that hubby and I have done. We've always had a recording studio early on. We worked together very well. I knew what assignments were for me. I was the admin and background singer and anything else I needed to do. But I came with an office background. I was strong in that. He was strong in producing the audio and doing that and I did the advertisement. I put everything on there because that's what I did. But still at the end of the day, we were still 50-50 running this business, and it was a very successful business. So much so we had to turn business away sometimes because we were so busy. So I think that we're all on the same part that on page that everyone should have their role, but we're actually talking about how this can build wealth, how it can strengthen couples. And I think we've touched on that in a bit, but I want to know if you think, and I'll start with you, Constance, can business wealth with your partner help you build trust in the relationship?
Yes. So going back to that, I think that is having defining roles. I think what Athena said is extremely important, is because first of all, it's going to help your business relationship is going to help your personal relationship, the communication. If you are able to carve out clear communication of what the expectation is, everyone takes accountability. Everybody is functioning in their roles accordingly. And you use that same, just like Dr. Lene said, marriage is a business. So you utilize that same functionality in your marriage that you're doing in your business with how roles are. And I imagine for you, Laura, that's what you did. You were able to communicate effectively with your husband. That's the reason why your business flowed so well. And then you were able to kind of translate that over to your marriage. And that's the reason why you're still married after 30 plus years, right? So yes. I think it can, if you know how to properly communicate, but that's the key. on both ends. Communication.
I think it all comes down to communication and understanding each other very well before you just jump into a business so quickly. But Dr. Lene, I'm going to ask you this. So what is the best way for couples to align themselves on financial goals without causing tensions? When you're first starting this, how can you start with the alignment?
Communication. I mean, that's in all relationships, business or otherwise, it's going to come down to communication. Honest communication, setting expectations, not unrealistic expectations, and then separating the two. Having your roles, regulations, rules, whatever the case might be for the business and how you're going to operate there, and putting a separation between church and state. What we do, how we operate in business, when we're in the office, it doesn't roll over home, right? So you're keeping those things separate, which goes back to those roles and whatnot. When we're here, we're this, when we're here, with that, but that communication and then respecting those boundaries.
So the rules of engagement.
Yes,
Yeah.
and engagement up early and honoring them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's a key thing right there. Honoring them. That's a biggie. That's a big bright light shining, blinking. You got to honor those. Otherwise, it will fall apart very quickly. Athena, when you think of couples, power couples, wealthy couples, what are some of the examples that you think of that we know about? And maybe somebody in your community that you know about?
Listen, power couples, I don't know if I should say, I mean, Jay-Z and Beyonce, even though Jay-Z.
But we don't know, because she does her thing, he does his thing. I don't think that they intermingle their businesses together. We know that they're both successful people, right? But that doesn't mean they're in business together.
I'm sure they have joint things together. I would assume so. I can't think of anyone publicly right now because we don't know what publicly thing they have done together. But what I will say is this also. I do think that being in marriage, relationship, business together can increase your wealth by 77%. And that is why I think a lot of the Black community has lost wealth, is because our decline in marriage rate coincides with the decrease in wealth. I think because when we look at the statistics, your ability to afford a home, your ability to combine, you do two things when you come together. You increase household income and also reduce expenses, because now you're sharing more things. And that adds more to your bottom line, and you're able to do and accomplish more. You're able to travel more. You're able to experience a more full life. We are now exploring other alternatives. We are exploring polygynous relationship. We are exploring ethical non-monogamy. We're exploring all these different things, instead of doing the things that will actually catapult you, your family, and your legacy for generations. You're not even taking advantage of the tax code, because everybody want to stay single and not benefit from the actual tax rates and that you get and other things when you actually are married to a person. So even though we're talking about Black couples, I want to plug marriage as something that is very important for us as a Black community to do, and we need to go back to that pre-1960s marriage rate that we did have. Another thing I want to quickly mention as well is that while business partnership is great, within that same interview, I don't know if we had that clip, the other statistic that should have been pulled is that 83%, 83% of the relationship does not work out if the woman makes more money than the man, right? So that was
that brings a really good question. So how does gender roles come into this play, Constance?
I'm single, but I tell you what.
But you date, so you still know. I'm
outside. But I will tell you this: my lifestyle has not changed from being married to being single.
Okay, all right. That's a good point, though.
When you talk about women making more than men, right? My lifestyle has not changed.
No, but I'm saying that when they were talking, the statistic in the video was saying
I
that
83% I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying
of
me
the
per
relationship. The relationship don't work out if the dynamic is that the woman makes more than a man. So
I made more, And yeah, I mean, it does, even though I didn't know, I'll say this, I didn't know that it affected my ex in that way while we were married until we were going through a divorce. Because one of the things my friend said is I did a very good job in making him feel like he was a part of everything, because when we got divorced, he really felt like he did a lot of the stuff that he didn't do. And so, but when people will be like, well, what does he do? Well, what does he bring to don't worry about that. We got this. This is us. First of all, I don't let people in my business like that anyway, as being married, but I made him feel really good about him being a part of everything. I encouraged him. And I wanted him to look good. I wanted him to, feel good about his contribution, even though it wasn't necessarily financial. I still was like, I can't do what I do without you doing what you do. And I made him feel like he was an equal part of the contribution. So now when we got a divorce, we was going through divorce, he was like, I built this company. And I was like, yeah, it was all of that. And I was like, oh shit. So I didn't realize how that really affected him until we were going through the divorce. And I was like, I thought, so it did bother him. Him not making the money did bother him. I will say that.
You made a good point.
You kind of proved the point.
Yeah, to think this point, to your point, and what we're talking about. So maybe the reason why, maybe 77% of couples who do business together, it is that we are in business together. As a strong woman who probably makes the bulk of the money, being in business together, there's no his and hers. We are in this together. We are both making the money. It's not your money or his money. It's our money. So that might be the reason why it happens. Because if 83% of couples don't like it when women make the most money, and I'm going to say it. As women, we go hard in the paint. We are driven. We're going to get out here and get what we got to get and do what we got to do. If we can do it with our partner, then it's not a him versus me. There's no competition because we're out here getting it together. And that might be what increases that. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Okay, so the example of Wendy Williams and Kevin Hunter, she had her thing going and then he joined that business and they were doing the business as one together, right? So what was the result of that?
Well, we saw that, and that's a great point for us to take a break. We'll be right back.
If you want to grow your money and not blow your money, as Constance says, check us out at flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, programs, videos, resources. In 2024, there's no reason to be broke when there's information all around us. So get your money right. flynubianmoney.com.
Woo! Get your money right. And get your money tight. All you need to do is get the free resources at flynubianmoney.com. Y'all have heard me say it before. I'm going to say it again because maybe you didn't hear me the first time I said it. The year is winding down. It is time to get yourself together financially before the year even starts. If you don't even know where to start, you can't see the goal line. So if you're just a little confused and you need a little guidance, we have a lot of tools, a lot of resources, and all you have to do is just go to the website flynubianmoney.com, download those resources, and really start getting your life together. Y'all, this next coming year is going to be hard, period. So you need to make sure that you take care of you and your household and get it together. So make sure that you go and check that out. Now listen, we're going to dive back into this, but I'm gonna need to reel us in a little bit because Athena actually really did bring up a good point. We've seen good business. Now, I'm just going to assume, guys, Jay-Z and Beyonce, we're just going to assume for the thinking. People think that they are a power couple, but we also had Tabitha Brown and her husband as well. And then you mentioned Wendy Williams, and we saw that kind of fell apart. So, there's a lot going around with that. We can assume, but we definitely know that there's pluses and minuses. So, Dr. Lene, how can couples find balance between work and love and family while they're building their business?
They can't. There's no such thing as balance. So the best you can hope for is harmony. If you try to find balance, you're going to have a problem because somebody going, you're not doing as much as I'm doing. I'm doing more. It's not 50. It's not going to be. It's not going to be. And why do you want it? Do you want to do? You don't want it. So harmony is the best that you can expect, but it goes back to communication. Sometimes I might have to give more. Sometimes you might have to give more. Sometimes we can go all in. Like, that communication is going to be key. Setting realistic expectations is going to be key, but it all comes back to communication. Having the trust and faith in your partner to say what you're thinking and how you're feeling, even if it's not nice, even if they're not going to agree with it. Not be mean or rude, but just honesty. Because if not, you'll take on more and extra and you'll start to regret it. And what should be a beautiful thing and something that's beautiful and great can turn into something that's not.
Yeah. And if I could tackle onto that too, because sometimes you're going to do more, sometimes he going to do more, and giving each other grace, right? Sometimes, so that harmony thing, because it's not going to be balanced. Sometimes you're going to give 80%. Sometimes you're going to be, I was the first one in, last one out. My son used to always call me, Mom, at 10 o'clock at night, Mom, can you come home? And then he was at home holding it down, making sure dinner was ready and stuff like that. But sometimes you may do a little bit more on your function, and that's okay. But there's no, I think, hierarchy or more importance in once you identify what the roles are inside that business, there's no big I's and little U's. And so really making sure that the value that you give the value to that person, and you have that grace for them.
Exactly. And I will say, when we started our studio, we were in our early 20s. I was still learning how to be myself, and so was he. So there were days sometimes where I'd be like, how you gonna tell me how to type that letter? Like, you have to understand that you both are communicating. And even though a partner may want you to do something a certain way, but just because you know how to do it, you still need to communicate. No, I want this picture up here in the left. Why? I said I put it up in the right. So those are small little things that you still have to overcome when you're in a business or a partnership with anyone. So you have to keep your mind open to that. But Athena, if you were to start a business with a partner, what are some red flags that you would be looking for when you're mixing business and romance?
I have to laugh. Sorry, I have to laugh. If I'm going into business, and I've actually had men ask me to go into business with them, I was like, listen, where my ring at? Because a business is a marriage. So we wasn't going to try to skip that. But anyway, I would say first, we need to clearly define what our roles and functions are, right? What is the goal and function of our business? Where are we going to land? Because to me, I'm different than some people. I prioritize relationship first, then business. And that because I have advice from my parents and their 40 years of marriage experience. And my dad told me the only way a marriage works is if you put that marriage above everything else. And I've seen how they have moved with certain things, right? But and that's why my advice to people is to really have that roles and functions. My parents' business ventures have worked because they have clear, defined roles and functions. They do not step or cross. So because what happens when you do start a business is you can put a pressure on a relationship because you don't ever get like that flexibility, because not only are you working together now, you're living together, you're doing everything together. There's no break. There's no, everything all intermingled, and you can take your personal problems to the business and the business problems to the personal. So that's why I wanted to help and say that if I was to start a business with someone right now, yes, clear, defined roles and functions would be key. And then also, depending on what type of business we are doing together, I would want to make sure that this man is successful in his own right and feels very good and very self-confident on his own already. I'm not muling with no man. I'm not going to take no dusty man with me. He needs to come with his own thing. And the reason for that is when women go into business or have relationships with men and they are more successful, the divorce rate shoots up and those relationships tend not to last. And I'm not trying to be one of those women.
I think that brings up a lot of good points, but guess what? We have a video that I want us to look at because I think it's very important for us to see this in this conversation. And I actually was impressed with this young lady, and I would love to hear your comments after watching this. So let's check this out and see how this couple in business started out.
Babe, let's open up a medical lab. He's like, a medical lab? I'm like, hell yeah, black-owned medical lab?
Yeah,
like,
that's fire. I can see the marketing on the wall right now.
I was like, a black-owned medical lab? Why not? I'm like, this will be your first business. Let me teach you.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, let's do it.
This is while he's incarcerated.
Yeah, while he's incarcerated. So he opened up his first business while he was incarcerated. And it's called Secure Testing Labs. We do DNA testing, drug testing, all that stuff. And me and him end up on the billboard in Times Square.
Oh, yeah, I
put him on the billboard
that,
in Times Square. Me and him, dating him, I've never dated anybody incarcerated. So I didn't know what men go through behind the wall. He's like, I want to help them. He was like, I was blessed to have you to show me a different way. I want to show them something. Mm-hmm. I'm like, all right, well, what are we going to do? He's like, I want to do a nonprofit. And we was just talking about it. He didn't know I went behind it and did the paperwork. And then I surprised him. I surprised him with Beyond the Chains. And we started helping people incarcerated become business owners.
Oh, oh my.
Nah, you know why it's fire too? Because it's like you see those pictures or videos when people be in jail with like a Henny bottle or something, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, who could really say they got a nonprofit in jail? Like, that's
that's a
right.
flex.
Helping people in jail. You're in jail, helping people in jail. Like that, I think that's so far. I keep telling him he got a fire testimony.
Yeah,
so right now I'm just
testimony.
out here just putting in the footwork, because when he come home, he's gonna be speaking right with me.
All right, I'm gonna have to giggle because y'all have no idea how much fun we have behind the scenes. I just want y'all to know that when we say we family, we family. All right, we are definitely family. All right, all of my queens up here are my sisters, and they just need to know that. But
let's start with Athena.
With that being said,
Dr. Lene, you ain't shit.
Athena, I love you, and I'm gonna let you off the hook for a little bit because we have Dr. Charm back. So, Dr. Charm, you came in right when this video came in. So, tell me what you think about this.
What I think is that this is not for the faint of heart because Athena and I do After Dark, and I said I can't be dealing with these men that have a frequent flyer card to the penitentiary, but I will have to say that I have a person that I worked with. I did contract work with her, and she became a millionaire from opening a lab. She happened to invent a testing mechanism for COVID at the height, when they were didn't have enough COVID tests. And she got these huge contracts. Now this lady owns homes in multiple countries, and her and her husband do things together. But I mean, this is solidly her own business. But I have to say, if the man was going to start a business in jail, that was, he started a medical lab, and anything in the healthcare industry is smart. So, give it up to them for that. We're dealing with the real situation that 1 in 3 Black men have had some type of contact with the criminal justice system. So either they are in jail currently, or on probation, or are formerly incarcerated. And that's 1 in 3. So I think it's a very creative workaround. Get you a prenup, girl.
So here's the thing. She took his idea that he gave her as what he saw in his mind. He didn't know that she was setting this stuff up for him. And so that's how they ended up, she heard his vision, she saw his vision, and she put that into implementation. So that's what's interesting to me. Now, when I read through the comments of that video, I actually saw that, there was someone who knew her and said, they came in and said, listen, God bless her. I know I was in high school with her, and she's always been different, but different in a good way. So she saw the potential, and she moved out for it. So how can we find her and her business? You see, people are supporting this. Ain't nothing like a woman in faith in herself. Out of curiosity, what made y'all go with the medical lab? She became a medical assistant out of college. So you see, we laughing, but people also love to see couples build and do something positive.
But that body language on that pose, put that picture back up of them hugging like that. Y'all know they say that's that hug that the man do behind you when you finna pay for everything.
At the counter.
I ain't got money. You got this baby. That's that. You got this baby hug. But I mean, like I said, she happy. I'm not finna go with nobody got a frequent fire card to the penitentiary and get them set up with a business. That's on him. But shout out to you people again.
I had a friend who her husband went to prison. She had 2 little girls. He did about 18 years, or maybe close to 18 years. When I tell you that girl was faithful, held him down, bought more. She used to work for me. Was hustling in real estate, bought a big house, just preparing until he got out. Prepared until he got out. He got out. And he told her, I want you to take a lie detector test to show me that you ain't been with nobody. You take a lie detector test to show me that you ain't been with nobody in prison, right? First of all, he was there for a sexual offense. They was probably together no more than maybe 6 months. And I said that to say that, doing all of this for somebody who's incarcerated where you really don't know, because I don't know if they were like together before he went in, but you really have not lived with this person. You don't know the day to day, or if this person is going to be different, even if you did. And if he's in there for a long time, how's he going to come out? How's that going to work? You've done all this stuff, y'all. He could be telling you, giving you sweet nothings from prison. He could be telling you all the things, and then he come out and things change. So I just am, God bless her for what she did. Everybody in the comments is saying she need to get a prenup. I hope that she does. I hope she's smart enough to protect herself.
I watch Love After Lockup, and that's the thing. These people are coming out of prison with PTSD. So that's the other thing. So you don't know how they're going to behave. Like I say, she's an anomaly. And I was the first one to say, get the prenup. Girl, get your prenup. So, he can be doing you that behind the hood, like, ooh, baby, you paying for the dinner. But, as long as you got your prenup right. But I'm not messing with no jailbirds. That's not in my ministry. That's not what the Lord has for me.
Okay, Dr. Lene, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Now, listen, everybody getting touched by this question. Okay?
So let me say this. I would not date a man in prison. I would not. I know I wouldn't. I have dated men who have gotten out of prison years later, whatever the case might be. So meaning if you may have had a bump in the road at some point in your life, right? Well, what I will say is I wouldn't have known if they didn't tell me. So they had to tell me, shut up, really? And so they don't look like what they've been through, and they've turned their life around. Like they're doing excellent business, or they've made something in their careers. I have a past. I've done some things in my past. I've shared some of those things here. And so I think I don't judge. I will ask, well, what did you go in for? You know what I'm saying? There's certain things, I ain't playing around with certain things, but I also understand the system. I also understand that people have gotten railroaded and been put into jail and they were innocent. Not everybody, not all, but we know that is true. So I don't not invest in a man, and by investing, I mean with my time and my love, a man who has had some prison time. I say that to say building anything is hard, a relationship or a business, because you have to be vulnerable. You have to trust. You have to commingle. You have to trust that this person is going to have your best interest at heart. It doesn't matter, relationship or business. Both of these things are difficult. And when you're doing it with somebody who may have had a stain in their past, it makes it even more difficult. So I think each person has to make those choices and decisions for themselves, right? I think it's easy for us, and it's always easy for us to get in here and talk about it because we're talking about somebody else's life. But when you find yourself in the situation for yourself, you have to make your own choices and decisions on what you will and won't do. That's what I would say. I have done it with some really nice men that are doing great. But if I had met them while they was in, I wouldn't know them today. That's what I'll say.
Gotcha. And so that's a clear distinction. That's a good point for us to take a couple of deep breaths, and we will be right back to continue this conversation.
Fly Nubian Money is now on Spotify. Yes. We are on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, you can listen to us. All you have to do is search Fly Nubian Money and we will appear. All of our episodes. Make sure that you leave a 5-star rating and reviews so other people that come along and are looking for a good show to watch, they'll follow us too. If you are interested in being on Fly Nubian Money, sorry, I don't have any spaces. I'm just playing. If you are interested in being a queen or a king on Fly Nubian Money for the day, please reach out to me. I'm at info@realvirtual.net. That's info@realvirtual.net. Also, if you need help with your business, go ahead and send me an email for that too. Okay. I've said enough. Now back to the show.
Listen, we got that magical email where you can do all the things. So you want to make sure that if you want to be a part of this royal court, all you have to do is to email us and let us know. As you can see, we're having a very spirited conversation today. We always have a spirited conversation. And if you want to get in on this, all you have to do is email us at info@realvirtual.net. That's info@REELVIRTUAL.net. So you want to do that because we would love to have you. Listen, I want to bring up a stat, ladies, because I think it's important for us to talk about this as well when we're talking about Black wealth and the disparaging differences that we have with other communities. So the median household wealth for Black families is $24,100 compared to $188,200 for white families. Collaborative wealth building efforts among Black couples can help bridge this gap. That is a huge number, y'all. A very large number. So with that, I'm going to ask a question. And I'm going to start with you, Athena, because I let you off the hook after the last one. So do you think that Black couples have enough to access resources and mentorship for wealth building?
Yes.
You want to elaborate on that, please?
Yes, I'm going to elaborate on that.
Okay,
Similar to what we were saying on the previous episode, we have to use the resources that we have. All right, $24,000 ain't nothing. Okay, that is what, daycare for the year for children now. So obviously, we need to galvanize ourselves. But like I said previously, we got money for wigs, we got money for rims, we got money for Jordans, we got money for extravagant nail designs, we got money for lashes, we got money for all type of things. But we'll take that same amount of money and put it into a course that will teach us how to trade, put us into a course and teach you how to get your first piece of real estate, get you a house, to put it in a course to teach you how to use AI to launch your business, put it in a course to teach you some brilliant strategy for your business, right? So we have our priorities all messed up. I'm sure we were a cake in the line on Black Friday during Thanksgiving weekend instead of learning how to flip our money into something, right? Or some kind of investment. So even though we are lagging behind, and yes, white domination is on our foot and our necks 24/7, I am sure, that does not absolve us of the responsibility and accountability that we have to have on our own selves. If people can come from dirt poor countries, migrants from elsewhere can come, learn the systems that are here and leverage it to build their little liquor store or weave store or whatever to try to take advantage of it.
You can't compare us to immigrants. Not the same thing.
Elaborate.
It's not the same thing. I mean, they haven't had the same experiences as Black people who've been here and have had to deal with systematic racism in the way that we have, who've been conditioned to a certain lifestyle and conditions. That gets me when I hear people say, "Well, look at the Asians can come over here and they could do this, and the Arabs can come over and do this," but they haven't had the same things that happen in their communities. There's not a conscious effort to destroy their community in the same way it is ours. And so you can't compare the people who come over here and they see, oh, this freedom. They've had some oppression. They've had some oppressive experiences, but it's not the same. So every time, when you look at historically, when we've had situations where our Black wealth was taken, when you've had situations where, land was taken from us, we look at white people. The reason why their wealth is $244,000 compared to our $24,000 or whatever it is, they've gotten free land. There was the Homesteading Act of 1863, 2 years before or after slavery, where they paid white people to come over and gave them hundreds and thousands of acres of land for free. Now, the number one way to build wealth is through real estate. They gave them land for free, and they reversed our 40 acres and a mule for working in this country for hundreds of years for free. Now, they've gotten all of these advancements. And so when we talk about, we are out here spending our money frivolously, Asians, I see Asians wearing designer stuff all the time. I see white people wearing designer stuff all the time. Nobody says anything about them. I think we just have to have more financial awareness. We've had things taken from us, and there are targeted efforts to destroy the Black community in many different ways. And so I think that's the thing that differentiates us between everybody else.
Okay.
I agree with that statement. However, regardless of that, we still need, what is the course of action? That's why I said white
100%.
dominance is going to be on our necks regardless. So
there is a course of action, but I just don't like the comparing the two. You can't say, well, they come over here and do this. This is what white people do all the time. They say the Asians come over. The Asians don't have the same experience as we do. The Arabs come over. They don't have the same experience. So we can't look at other people's experience and compare them to African Americans of what we've gone through systemically through this country. Yes. To answer your question, Lala, I do believe that there's information out there for all of us to be able to get. If we start with Google, we start with GTS, Google that shit. The information is out there, Chat GPT, the power of AI, all of those opportunities are there for us at our fingertips. We have more power and knowledge in the palm of our hands than when they put the man on the moon. We have that. We have more access to technology right here. So we can redirect and we utilize it to build wealth. We can. And I think that's a great divide. I mean, I think that's a great equalizer. The internet is the great equalizer. That's the thing when they talk about that wealth gap widening, that's the thing that's going to close it up, is because we have the access and opportunity right now.
Agree. And I think also we still need to be very aware that they're trying to take that away from so many schools and trying to tear down the walls for these types of educations. And it's there for you, but we have to make sure that we access that and we let our children access that and we learn how to use it and garner it in a way where we can harness that power into building our next phase. Only 8% of Black households inherit wealth, compared to 26% of white households. Strategic planning by Black couples can pave the way for future generations. I really, these numbers are disappointing. It just tells me that we have so much more work to do, because we can sit back and make excuses all day long. But just like you said, Constance, Google that shit. You know, there is a free Chat GPT. You don't have to pay for that. You still can learn how to harness those things. But I want to ask you a question, Dr. Lene. Do you feel that there is certain industries that might be good for couples to get into? I know everybody's different, but in your opinion, because you help build brands, what do you suggest for people who are looking for suggestions on where to start?
I don't think that there's a specific one, like I could just say, oh, this one. I think the specific one is I forget who was talking about it, the one where the couples have the strength. So experience is always going to be your best friend, something that you know, where you don't have to go and try to research it and learn it to go and do it. So something that you already know how to do, or something that you already have a strength with that your partner also has. That's what I would say. So it's not industry specific as much as it is experience specific. But I want to just press on that button that Athena talked about a minute ago, which is we do find the money for everything else. So when it comes to starting your business or investing in a business or financial literacy or real estate or wherever the case might be for Black wealth, find the money for it. Maybe you don't go to Starbucks. Maybe you don't do your Netflix. Maybe you don't take that trip. We spend $3,500 to go on a trip to Miami for a 2-day weekend, but we won't invest $750 to learn how to do stocks. So I would say Black wealth and or knowledge Black wealth will come from knowledge. So investing in your knowledge, finding the funds and the tools, the amount of money that people gave to Beyonce during her tour that they could have invested in a course with Constance, a course with Athena, a course with me, Dr. Charm. I don't know if you have courses or not, but we have the financial backing to be wealthy. We need that. We need the knowledge.
I totally agree with you. And that is a great point to take this break. And we'll be right back. It's going to tie right into your message. We're claiming it. 2025 is your year for home ownership, and we are going to get you to that goal. Who's we? Fly Nubian Money Club and me, Laura Lala Key, international real estate agent. And we have a wonderful session for you about how to get you started on the path to home ownership. We'll cover the steps. We'll answer a lot of the questions that most people have, because when you are educated about this process, it makes it more fun and a little easier than if you step into it without knowing anything. I can't wait to spend some time with you to get your juices flowing and to get the excitement flowing, because 2025 is your year. Make sure that you come to this class and you invite someone else, because it really is important to own your own piece of land. I look forward to seeing you. Bye. When I say I have all the feels right now, I'm tingling right now. You know why? Because we're going to teach you what's going to happen during the process of buying home ownership. You hear everybody say, get finance, do this, but is anyone really teaching you all of the processes? What is escrow? What is title? What is appraisal? That is what this class is all about. And I am so excited to spend some time with you this weekend, this Saturday, December 14th. And all you have to do is sign up at flynubianmoneyclub.com. And you can come and get educated on the process and learn every step of the way, so that when you're in the process, you're not going to freak out and you know how to keep the calm thing. Because, buying a house can be very, very stressful. Constance can tell you, it can wear you out, because if you don't know what to expect and you hit the first bump, you feel like you're going to fly off the world. So all you need to do is sign up at flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I will see you on Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're also going to have a bonus. Surprise! A bonus. So make sure that you sign up so you can find out what that is. So with that being said, we talked about building this wealth for our communities and some things to get us started. But Dr. Charm, I want to ask you, if you had the opportunity to redefine what generational wealth means for Black communities, how would you redefine that, and how would you give the first steps toward getting that?
Thank you for asking. When that statistic was brought up about the average Black family having $23,000, according to Forbes, it's not even $23,000. It's $1,700 when you don't count durable goods like the family car and electronics like the television and the stereo set and and the family car. So it drops down to even $1,700. And it dropped, the Black median wealth dropped by 75% between 1998 and 2013. We did have a large loss of Black wealth with the housing crisis in 2008. So with that being said, reparations, people can say it's a pipe dream, but reparations is a very real strategy that we need to pursue. And not only just reparations, but Black economic empowerment that is government sponsored, because so much of our loss of wealth was government sanctioned. So the redlining, loss of property. I know my family lost property during, with some of the things that went on in the country, where, and a lot of Black families in the South were run out of the South. The Great Migration to Chicago. I'm an honorary Chicagoan and own property in Chicago, but a lot of those people fled Mississippi and Alabama and had to move to Chicago, running in the middle of the night. Those properties were quote unquote abandoned, but really they were victims of domestic terrorism. So you had a lot of wealth lost then. People can say, well, reparations, we weren't enslaved, but you can even just go back then. And then I've mentioned before on this broadcast about the GI Bill, and that, there were soldiers who fought in World War I, World War II, denied their GI Bill, which is a huge way that families were able to acquire homes with those veteran loans and things. And so, with even those things that just happened in the 20th century, we have recourse to pursue economic reparation for that, even outside of slavery. Slavery just adds even more ammunition to it. And we need to pursue government responsibility for our economic improvement, because again, it was government sanctioned.
I agree, but I don't think we're going to get that in these next few years, but that's just my personal opinion. All right. So
he's giving them to white people for having to do DEI, remember?
Yeah, and to deal with their
Yeah.
fact that they have been traumatized, that, we have to tell our slavery story. Let's check this out, though, before we start to wind down. Black-owned businesses contribute over 150 billion annually to the U.S. economy, showing the potential for entrepreneurial growth and among Black couples. And this is a very big thing, guys. If you don't think that your money is powerful, I need you to think again. It's just a matter of us all getting on one accord and deciding that we're no longer going to give our money to businesses or establishments that don't give a damn about us. I'm on one this year. You hear me? I'm on one this year. Almost every day I post who you don't need to be spending money with. And I will give a solution on where you can go, because now I'm looking for Black products. I'm looking for Black services 24/7. And I will make it a point to even spend a little more just to support that. So Black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in the United States, creating opportunities for more Black couples to explore joint business ventures. Y'all, this is no joke. We're talking about power couples. I know that we kind of got off head jokes, but in all seriousness, we do need to get our financial houses in order and really understand that the power that we have must be unleashed and used. Now, we went through this. We had some fun. We talked. I'm telling you, y'all ladies kept me on my toes today, okay? So I'm going to have to go get some house shoes so my toes don't hurt no more. So we're going to have final thoughts. And I'm going to start with you, Constance. Please give us our final thoughts on where we can find you. You always look so surprised when I call your name. Like,
me? I'll say this. I believe in Black people. My mission and my whole life is around helping Black people to close the wealth gap. That's what my TED Talk was about. That's what I do every day with real estate. Real estate being the number one way to grow wealth. Real estate is 80% of wealth in this country is generated through real estate. We can really close the wealth gap. Opportunities are boundless. We are not subjected to, a lot of the predatory practices that our ancestors and our forefathers were. There's tons of opportunities. I just say, invest in yourself. Invest and learn. I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in real estate. I've lost lots of money in stock. I lost lots of money in a lot of things, but my hardships, I use them as a blueprint to help other people. So invest in yourself in different training and different classes, different things like that, so that you do not have to lose money in order to make money. Learn from other people who have proven strategies that can help you really get on track. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in myself because I have a PhD, a public high school diploma. I have a chip on my shoulder. I had not formally educated like the doctors here. I basically had to learn the hard way. So I do what I do to help other people so that you don't have to go through what I went through. But it takes investing in yourself. You have to put the money out there. You have to put the time and energy and resources out there so that you can get it back. And that's what I say, invest in yourself. That's the reason why working with Black women is so important to me, because there's an African proverb that says, when you teach a man, you teach an individual, but when you teach a woman, you teach a nation. And I believe Black women are going to be at the forefront of closing the wealth gap. I do not believe that study in Forbes magazine that said that in 2053, our wealth will be a zero, even though they say it's on track to go that direction. And we see statistics that may show that. I believe that we have everything that we need inside of us and the power of the internet. But let me show you how to do that. So where can you find me? Everywhere. I am Constance Carter. I have my Net 7 Collective where I'm helping Black women. I have the B1 Real Estate Mastery where I'm helping you to show you how to be real estate investors. I see some of my people on here today. So shout out to those people who have invested in themselves and who are doing the damn thing, because those are going to be the world changers, the game changers.
Agree. So make sure that you go stocking and chicken hawking, because that's how you're going to get the information. So go on over there and get your information from Constance. Constance going to tell it to you, and she going to tell you in the best way. You're going to remember everything that she said.
With no chaser.
Right. And then now we're actually going to go to our goddess, Athena Gardner. Where can we find you? And let's get your final thoughts, please.
I believe in Black love. I believe in Black future. And I believe that these are things that we need to advance and build our wealth and shorten the gap that we are currently experiencing. With the advances of AI, it has shown that they expect the wealth gap to increase exponentially if Black people do not participate within that wave. And I have created a course called the AI Business Launch to help Black people do just that, especially for those of you who are looking to either launch a business or elevate a current one. I would suggest that you go there. Also, for my ladies, I know we talked about love and relationship today and why I am pro relationship, I am pro marriage, I am pro Black love. I'm not pro being dumb. So if you have a section in there about talking about money and relationships and how to financially structure your relationship so you do not end up like most Black women, divorced and single and alone in their 50s and 60s, you want to find out that information. That will be in my Goddess Guide to Money course. All my information, social media, podcasts, and everything you can find at elevatewithathena.com.
You know what to do. Get on over there and get what you need. Athena's got it all, and she's got that awesome AI course. You want to take that as well. Dr. Lene, what are your final thoughts, and where can we find you? And by the way, we love your new look, darling.
Thank you. We have a newscaster going on. I love this short haircut. I can't even lie. My final thought is this. I am not one of those people or coaches that say you have to have a Black business, you have to have a business, you have to have a business. But I am a person who says you need to make sure that nobody can take anything from you. And a lot of times the way we see that is through entrepreneurship. So when we're looking at these stats, 77% of Black couples increase their net worth due to entrepreneurship. I say get a business. You can get your own business. You can get a business and bring your significant other in later, or you can start your business with your significant other. Whatever you do, get a business. You don't have to leave your job, but you do want to make sure that you have some type of wealth momentum. And oftentimes that comes through business. And it could be a real estate business, like what Constance does. It could be through financial literacy, like what Athena does, or it could be through entrepreneurship, right? So that's what I would say. Increase the wealth, close the wealth gap. How I help people do that is I am a brand your brilliance coach. So I work with service-based entrepreneurs who package and sell their expertise. That means you know something. There's something that you can do to teach somebody else. There's something that you can do to change the world, right? There's a brilliance that you have, and you're trying to figure out, how do I share what I do with the rest of the world? I help you to brand your brilliance. And so you can find me on all social media platforms at my name. I am Dr. Lene Javette. But if you want to look at any of my courses, look at any of my strategies, my whole store, the Brilliant Store, is on sale right now, 75% off, because all of my prices are going up at the first. So right now I have 5 classes. It's called Pick Your 100. I have 5 of my courses, my signature programs, for $100. When 100 people have signed up, I'm taking them off. I'm archiving them. Nobody will ever be able to buy them again. So go check me out at thebrilliantstrategist.com, and you can find all my stuff.
You better get on over there before you miss out. This new year
courses
next year is going up. So you look, she told you in plenty enough advance to go and do your homework. So go ahead and head on over there and do that. Dr. Charm, what is your final thoughts, and where can we find you?
My final thought is, I think it's great for people that can work together as a couple and prosper and be wealthy. And let's not leave out the skilled laborers. If you got a husband that's a plumber and you can do a good admin work and be his, scheduler, those kind of things, that's a nice one to work together. The real estate. So I really like having these options. And at the end of the day, we all need to have multiple streams of income, and having that as a partnership is even better. Y'all can find me at CharmGirl77. That's my Instagram. I have a comedy show this weekend, December 14th, Saturday, at Atlanta Comedy Theater for my Atlanteans, for the ATL. You can come. It's a daytime show, so y'all can go to the gym, run your errands, and come to my comedy show. And then everybody talking about their classes, honey. I didn't put my class up in the chat. I do have a class. Now, it's not a financial course, but it's going to help your health. So for when y'all finish getting finished eating all this turkey dressing, fried turkey, barbecue turkey, take my nutrition class, and it's called, you can go to dr-charm.com Teachable.com. And so that is my teachable course where you can talk about nutrition and also about your firing and hiring a doctor, what labs you should ask for, what things you should know in your health. And I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's dr-charm-school.teachable.com. And I actually put it in the YouTube comments from my YouTube account. And I thank y'all. Thank y'all for being here. And if y'all here Saturday, come check out my show.
You know what to do. You not. Listen, go ahead and run your errands and then get on over to that show. You know you want to have a good time because laughter is medicine. All right. And we need more of it. I think we got so many things going on in the world right now. It's heavy. You want to make sure that you get a little laughter in your day. So if you in ATL, I'm gonna tell my family, Dr. Charm. I'm gonna tell my family. I got a lot of family in ATL. And here's what I have to tell you. Listen, I am all for Black wealth, Black family, Black excellence, because we are excellence. Sometimes we forget that we are. So we got to move our pettiness out of the way. If you want to work with your partner and your spouse, make sure you set the right foundation. Sit down and talk about where you want to take your business and what direction you want to go in and how you're going to handle how it's run. Because if you don't communicate, you're not going to be able to get off to a good start. So if you have that as a goal and a dream, then why not do it? Don't put it off. My new motto, baby, is don't put it off, because you do not know if tomorrow is promised or not. And I had that lesson from my sisters. So I'm always going to shout out their names for that new motto of mine. And that's Valerie and Azure, who are no longer here. So they have taught me that, hey, if you want to do it, do it. Get out there and do it. So you can find me at bit.ly/Laura Key Info. I have a lot of free resources there for you. All of my socials are there. And don't forget to sign up for the class that we have this week. But listen, y'all all know we had a great conversation today, right? We go live Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a large viewership. We go live on many different platforms. And if you have a business that you want to get out into the world, just know that people are looking for you too. So let us be the great connector for you. If you're interested in advertising with us, just email us at our magic email address. That's simple info@reelvirtual.net. And then put into the subject line ad costs, and we will send you the ad costs so that you can advertise with us and get your business seen. If you want to grow, let us help you do that. Let us get them connections for you. Ladies, I had so much fun with y'all today. I think we've had a spirited conversation, as we always do. But you guys don't want to miss tomorrow. Don't want to miss tomorrow. So join us tomorrow at 1 p.m. We wish you all love and many blessings, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.